Hey everyone, welcome back to Buick Outdoors. If you're new here, my name is Sheldon Marion. Today, we're joined by my woman Shelby. We got old Rocky Boy and Daisy Girl. And today we're out in the cranberry patch. We're going to be picking some cranberries. Then after we get home, we're going to wash them up. I'm going to show you how to make some cranberry jelly. So because we had such a hot and dry summer, the berries, they're not really producing much this year. If you've seen our blueberry video, you would have seen that in our berry patch over there as well. And then here in the cranberry patch, usually all this stuff around me is just full of cranberries. You know, 90% of this stuff that's standing up, all these big broad leaves like that, you know, this is all cranberries. But unfortunately, because of the year that we have had, the plants just aren't producing much. And it's the same thing with blueberries, raspberries, just kind of nothing's gonna grow when there's not enough moisture, kind of a deal. But we're still getting some berries. There is small patches like this here that you'll find every once in a while, but for the most part it's been just kind of 2 or 3 berries on the leaves, kind of like this here. But we're slowly getting her done. We'll slowly get enough to make some jam or some jelly here tonight. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are here with us. Hey, Daisy girl. Hi, sweetie pie. So fortunately for us up here in the north, when it comes to cranberries, there's not really a whole lot of lookalikes. They are a very, very safe berry to start with. Basically, you know, the leaves, they almost look like a little maple leaf. Early on in the year, they're not red like this, they're green. One thing early on in the year though, is the berries are still kind of this orange color. And then as time moves on, they will turn into kind of this red color. And then after a couple of real good frosts, especially once you get kind of near the end of September, getting into October, a lot of the leaves will fall off, but the berries will still be on. And if you want some extremely sweet, well, sweet for a cranberry, If you want an extremely sweet cranberry, during that time is the best. The problem with that time though is, for the most part, the bears have already come through and ate them. Chickens have come through and ate them. So there is very, very, very few left. However, if you are able to find them, they will be quite a bit sweeter. I guess the picking time kind of depends on the year that you've had. I wouldn't suggest picking them in August. August is typically for huckleberries and blueberries. Cranberries, I would always recommend at least the first week of September, and then after that you're perfectly fine to pick them. And you're perfectly fine to pick them before that, they're just not going to be all that good. One thing that should be mentioned when you're out picking berries, whether it's cranberries, blueberries, huckleberries, raspberries, whatever, any kind of berry out there, berries are basically the majority of a bear's diet. So when you're out here, out in the bush, just be bear smart. For us, we always have the dogs. If you don't have dogs, I don't know, sing a song, make some noise, do whatever. Or just keep your head on a swivel, watch your surroundings, pack bear spray. For me, we have the dogs. I used to have little bear bells that I'd put onto their collars so they make a bunch of noise. And if worst case scenario comes around in the truck, I have a great big huge cannon in there, where if we do have a problem bear, I take care of the problem. I don't let it escalate anything past that. A lot of times if there is a bear in the area is big enough here, I don't need to pick right here. So if I would have showed up here where I wanted to pick berries at, and there's a bear roaming through here, or if one happens to come in here while we're here, 99% of the time, I'm just gonna grab my stuff, grab the dogs, get into the truck, and I'm gonna leave. However, there is that kind of 1% chance that a bear's gonna be an aggressive bear, and if that happens, I don't play around, I don't play games. I will take care of that problem if it happens. Hasn't happened to me in a very, very long time, but that is because if there is bears in the area, I don't stick around. I'm pretty smart about that kind of stuff. Plus, I don't want to shoot something unless I absolutely have to, right? So just kind of a heads up, there is going to be bears in the area, but as long as you're smart about it, you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever, and I definitely wouldn't let it deter you from coming out here and picking some berries. Anyways, I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to grab these 3, pull them off, put them in my bucket, and we're going to keep picking. Alrighty guys, so I think we finally picked enough here. It doesn't look like that much, but we have a few cups anyways. We'll have enough to make some jelly. We're not exactly making a whole bunch. I just wanted to have enough just to have kind of 1 jar for now, maybe save 1 jar for later, kind of a thing. But anyways, we're gonna get loaded up into the truck. We're gonna head her back to the house, and we'll see you guys in the kitchen. Alrighty, so to get started, basically we're just gonna grab all of our berries that we got all washed up and in our little container here, and just take it, throw it into your pot on the stove here. We removed the majority of leaves and sticks and twigs and stuff with wild berries, even stuff that you get at the store, you're gonna miss the odd one, but really it's not gonna hurt you. Once we get all of our berries in our pot, pretty well turn on your burner. I usually go kind of medium to maybe a 6 kind of a thing. If you burn this at any point in the process whatsoever, you basically mess up your entire batch. So the temperature control has to be paid attention to, because if you burn it, it's done. You gotta start from scratch. But anyways, we get the burner on, and then I'm gonna give them a real quick mash up at first, let them warm up, and then once they're warmed up, I'll mash it again, and then we'll go on to step 2 or 3, whatever we're on here now. Alright, so now we got these pretty well all smashed up, and it's starting to kind of boil on its own. We don't want this to burn, and there's not a whole lot of juice in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a little bit of water. We're going to add maybe a cup here, we'll see. That's about a half a bottle. So that's roughly a cup of water. We'll kind of get this all stirred in here. And then when this starts to boil up, it'll also help loosen off any skin, seeds, and all that stuff. And then eventually in the end, we gotta boil this water out again. But this just helps the process along. So now we have our water in there. What we'll do is we'll keep mashing and mixing so it doesn't burn. And then pretty well we're almost ready to strain this out. If you want to see how thick this stuff is with all the skins and stuff, you know, eventually we have to get rid of that, because that wouldn't do so well in a jelly. That's more of a jam. We're not making cranberry jam, we're making jelly, so that's gotta go. Alrighty, so it's been about 10 or 15 minutes here now. So we're pretty well done mashing it all up. We just got kind of a thick paste in there now, basically. It's just skin and seeds and stuff. So I think what we're going to do, the first way I'm going to try it here is just with this little strainer. I'm just going to take it, kind of throw it on the side like that. And I got a little, kind of like one of the hard plastic spoons, but it's still fairly flexible. That way, if there's anything down in the corners and stuff, we can grab it. While I'm doing this, I'm going to turn the heat right down to about a 3. That way we don't run the chances of burning it. And basically, you can take that, put it into the strainer, and see if we can actually get it to run out. I'll keep doing this, and then when we're all said and done here, I'll show you what the end result is for that. Alrighty, so we have the majority of all the skins and seeds and stuff taken out of there. This here is what we're kind of left with. What I'm going to be doing now, though, is I'm just going to transfer this into a second pot, and I'm just going to dump it through our little screen there. Then that way we get every last little bit out of here. Now we'll just take the back end of our spoon, kind of rub it around in here a little, and we'll get it all going through. See when we're doing that, see how it all comes out. With this stuff here too, it's really thick right now. We haven't even added any sugar yet, so we'll have to add a little bit more water, but that's alright. We can use the water to kind of clear out our little screen here, get every last drop of our little syrup that we have going on here. And then we'll also get a nice consistency in our jelly here. So I'll grab our bottle of water. I'll add the rest of it in here. And now that's a full 2 cups of water basically that we've used. Now one more thing that we can do here too is we'll take all of our seeds and skins and stuff, we'll put them into a jelly bag, and we'll do the same thing. We'll take the jelly bag, we'll fill it up in that secondary pan there, and then we'll put it on top of that screen and we'll squish it. Some places they make like a little cone that you can put a jelly bag into, and then you can squish it in there or squeeze it, turn it, and you get every last little drop out. It works great there, but here we're a little low tech. So we'll grab our little bag here, we'll open her up, and then basically I'm just gonna spoon it into here. Alright, so there we go. We got all the seeds and stuff in there. Seeds, stems, skins. It's starting to come out a little bit. So if you want to grab it, you can either twist it and squeeze that juice out, or you can kind of start by just pushing on it with the spoon. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll call that good enough. Bring that out. We'll put that to the side. I'm going to quickly wash up my hands here, then we'll get right back to it. Alrighty, so we're back out of here. There we go. Get that last little bit in there. So now that we're down to just pretty well pure straight cranberry juice at this point. Oh, see a little piece of skin there? You know what? We're going to leave that in there. I'll turn the temp back up. Maybe about a 4 for right now. And now is the time when you want to start adding your sugar. Basically, you do it to taste. Especially when you're using wild cranberries. Different times of the years you can have different sweetness in your berries. Right now, it's still kind of early on in the season. We just picked these in the middle of September, so they haven't really had much of a hard frost on them. So they're going to be a bit on the bitter side. More bitter for a cranberry. They're always going to be bitter. But if you get these later on in the year, like in, say, October, they're going to be slightly sweeter, so you're going to need a little less sugar. So for how much sugar I put in here, you can use the same amount, but it's just a guideline. And even for me, I'm really not going to be measuring it. I just grab my little scoop, dump it in, mix it up, taste it. If it needs more, I put more in. That's all there is to it. And that goes for pretty well all jams. I don't really follow recipes when it comes to jams because some are extremely sweet, some aren't sweet at all, so I just do everything to my own personal taste. And with cranberries, to be honest with you, it's pretty hard to overdo the sugar. It's not like you're making jelly or jam with something sweet like apples or blueberries or strawberries or anything like that. So I'm going to start with half a cup and see what that does here. As for using pectin, I personally don't use it. I don't like it. Just kind of how I am, personal preference. So when it comes to adding pectin, I really don't know when you add it because I've never used it before. I'm assuming it'd be right around now after you bring it back up to a boil. But that is also why you'd want to get one of these canning books. This thing, it has everything that you need in here. It tells you what you need, how much you need. There's a ton of recipes in here. What you need to use a water bath for, what you need to use a pressure canner for. This is, like I said, this is #1 top priority, what you need. Without that, don't can. Simple as that. You want to do this safely and effectively, you gotta get one of them books. Real quick, I'm just gonna grab a little spoon. And we're going to taste as we go. You don't need much, just, you know, a little dab will do you, right? Nope. That's still pretty tart. So what we'll do here, we'll just grab another half cup of sugar, throw that in there. There we go, we got that stirred in. And take a little spoonful. Almost there. Yeah, something like that. If you've seen any of my other cooking videos on here, you know I'm not much for measuring. It's always about that much is how much you need. So, again, about that much. We'll get this stirred in, and then as it starts to heat up, it'll slowly start to boil. That water will slowly simmer off. The natural pectin will kind of take over, and this will slowly start to thicken up. And then when that happens, we'll get started on getting our jars ready. For them, they just have to be washed and cleaned, which is already done, and then sterilized. And to sterilize them, you just throw them into your water canner and you'll just boil them for 10 minutes, and then you're good to go. And then with the lids, I put them into this pot with a little bit of water. You don't need much water, like an inch of water just to cover your lids up. And with those, you don't need to boil them, you just need to get them hot, basically. The heat will clean them up, sterilize them, and then also softens the seals. So in that way, when you go to seal this, it forms to the jar itself, and then that way you'll get a real good seal on them, and they'll last for years in your cupboard. What we're gonna do now is just let this simmer, and it might do like a real slow boil, and that's fine as long as you don't burn it. If you burn it, throw it away and start again. But as it slowly simmers, it's slowly going to thicken up. And when it starts to thicken up, I'll show you the little gel trick that we use. We use the spoon. You can also use a plate. And worst case scenario, grab yourself a piece of bread, spoon it onto your bread, take a bite, and then you'll know for sure. Alrighty guys, so we're down to our last little bit here. We're getting her nice and thick here now. See, when you're doing it like this, see how it kind of hugs the back of the spoon. Also, we'll do with this one here. Then you can see how it slowly drips off your spoon. So it's getting pretty good there. And then also what we're doing is the plate test. So I just took a little teaspoon of it, put it onto a plate, put it into the fridge here. Been in the fridge for maybe 5-10 minutes. And it was basically just enough for it to cool off. So you put it like that. See how it slowly starts to come back together. So it's tastes good, and it's not quite there yet. Maybe simmer this for another 5 minutes or so. Then in the meantime, we can get these going. Alright, so now for the final process here, we have our nice clean jars in here. I'm going to grab one with our little jar grabber. Get all the water out. Grab our little lid tool here, put that there, so we're ready to go. Now basically what we're going to do is take our little funnel, and on this one here, once you put it onto the jar, I'll use this one here that we're not going to be filling today. Put it on there and you can see these numbers. So this is how much headspace you need. So for this here, we need 1/4 inch. So right there it already says 1/4 inch. So what we'll do is we'll just fill up to that line, and then we'll go from there here. So put on our funnel. We need just a hair more. There we go. We're at the 1/4 inch line. Take our funnel off. If you get anything around your rim here, take a cloth, damp it down, and clean off your little rim. Grab one of our lids from the pot. They're nice and hot. Put that on there. Grab your cap. We screw this on just finger tight right there. You don't want to overdo it. And there you go. That's our first jar cranberry sauce. Now what we'll do, we'll get this ready to go back in. And we're basically just going to repeat the process now. Alrighty, so now that we have all of our jars into the canner, we referred back to our canning book. It says make sure that there is 1 inch of water above your jars, and then also put the lid on, bring it back up to a boil, and boil it for what the recipe says. One thing you really got to pay attention to with this stuff is your altitude, because different altitude changes the amount of boiling time. Anything over 1,000 feet, you bring it up by 5 minutes, and it goes up in increments like that. So around this area, we're around 700 to 750 meters. So whatever the recipe says, the recipe is in sea level. So for us, if it says boil for 5 minutes, up here, we need to boil for 10. So we're going to put our lid back on. We have over 1 inch of water. Put our lid on. Once it starts to boil, we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. After that, we'll turn everything off. We'll let everything cool down, pull them out, let them cool, make sure they all seal, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so the old canning book there, it said once you pull the lid off and the heat's turned off, once the boiling has stopped, you are able to remove your jars without tilting them and tipping them, and placing them onto your countertop and letting them cool. It says for 24 hours. So grab her, pick her up, bring her over here, sit her down nice, voila. Well, good morning guys. We've let our jam sit overnight now to test the seals. Just push down on the top, and none of them are popping, so they all sealed. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open one up, and then Shelby made some lemon muffins there yesterday, so she's gonna take a bite out of it with some of our jam on it. So let's open her up.
Oh yeah.
Not bad for a dirty old cranberry, hey?
Not bad at all.
Well, there you go, guys. That's how you make up some cranberry jelly. Hope you guys like this video. Hope it gets you out there in the bush. Pick some cranberries or head out to the store, buy some cranberries and give us a go. Anyways, hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.